Meet Kim. Kim joined track because her mother wanted her to. She's not overly enthusiastic about running. She isn't a very confident runner. She's not as experienced as the other girls on the team. She has a lot of potential, and I don't want her to quit. This is what the race looks like to her. I want her to love running. I want her to work hard at getting better. I want her to be the best runner that she can be, not necessarily the best runner. More than anything, I need Kim to feel successful. To get Kim to perform, I have to find a way to make her believe that she can succeed. Self-efficacy leads to motivation. Motivation allows us to try new things, take risks, and not give up until we accomplish our goals and then we feel successful. And that increases our confidence, which helps us to believe that we can accomplish other goals, and on and on. Teaching is complex, though, and if we're not careful, we'll have the opposite effect and decrease our students' self-efficacy. The first trick is to provide kids with the proper amount of challenge. Students don't see much point in goals that are too challenging or not challenging enough. The second trick is to be sure to know which goals to set for which students. Giving kids goals that they're not ready for will end in frustration for everyone involved, and more than likely, cause some sort of damage on top of it. Think of improving self-efficacy as a little like reverse Jenga. We're building students up one piece at a time. Once we figure out the specific pieces each student needs, all we have to do is apply the appropriate amount of pressure to get it where we need it. But what does this have to do with Evaas? Well, there may be an elephant in the room that we should address quickly, though. The fact that you hate Evaas. Because it provides an effectiveness rating, it seems to be passing judgment. But Evaas was built with students in mind, not teachers. Evaas doesn't think that you're a good teacher or a bad teacher. Evaas leaves the thinking to you. It's true. Evaas doesn't know you. Evaas was just a tool. Sure, it can be pretty intimidating and gruesome looking, and you'd rather keep your distance from it sometimes. But it's been built to do one simple job: measure the academic growth of our students. When Evaas came to North Carolina in 2006, it had two driving messages for educators: to understand academic preparedness of students before they enter the classroom, and to ensure growth opportunities for all of our kids. There's a yellow line that gets a lot of attention at the end of the year. It's a necessary line to draw, but it puts us in an awkward place with kids. Those above it are told they passed, and those below feel like failures. If it were at the end of a race, they would be grouped as winners and losers. When we have information at the start of the year about each student's academic preparedness, we can gauge whether or not academic growth over the year was at an equal rate among student groups. Change over time is consistent and equal for all of our kids, despite where they began. When we look at growth, there is no passing, there is no failing, and there are no bubble kids. When we focus on growth, proficiency isn't where success lies any longer. Success lies in maximizing each student's individual potential for academic growth. And as the father of Evaas once said, if academic growth is sustained over time, it becomes like compound interest, and what you see is populations of children constantly rising to higher and higher levels of achievement in later grades, regardless of where they started. We still want all of our kids to be proficient, but allowing them to feel like failures won't help get them there. Charting a path for success through a manageable amount of yearly growth and celebrating the student hitting that goal each year will. We have the coolest job in the world because we're in a position to define success for all of our kids. Rather than allow Kim to think she has to win this race, as her coach, I help her to set reasonable individual goals, and I provide the appropriate amount of challenge and make sure that she feels successful. Runners have a saying, races are a celebration of my training. If any assessment leaves a student feeling defeated, then no amount of diagnostic information we get from it was worth it. This might feel like a sales pitch. Well, it is. But it's not selling Evaas. It's selling an open dialogue and further discussion about what Evaas can do for your students. If you want to continue the conversation, stay tuned for other 5-minute videos that will provide more details on what Evaas is, how to begin, and how we can use it year-round to maximize the individual potential of every one of our students. And feel free to pass this one around.